By 2035, the first trillion-dollar resource will be found off-planet. This isn't about oil anymore. It's about ownership of the heavens. The old treaties are obsolete. A new space race has begun. All right. And this time, there are no rules. The weapons are already being tested. A silent conflict fought in the void that could unleash hell on Earth. The full story. A special ATM documentary. Watch now.
They report the chaos. We reveal the agenda.
Good evening, and welcome to ATM. We're about to embark on a journey that redefines wealth and power. Did you know that by 2035, some experts predict the first trillion-dollar resource will be found off-planet? This isn't just a prediction. It's a looming reality that will reshape global economics and geopolitics as we know it. The stakes are incredibly high, promising unprecedented opportunities and unforeseen challenges. This isn't about oil anymore, the black gold that fueled centuries of conflict and progress. It's about something far more valuable and strategically critical: asteroids, rich in precious metals, lunar helium-3, a potential clean energy source, and the ultimate prize, ownership of the heavens themselves. This new frontier raises a critical question. Are we heading for a new space war? A conflict for cosmic dominion? For generations, our industries and technological advancements have been limited by Earth's finite resources. The demand for rare earth elements, which are absolutely essential for our modern smartphones, electric vehicles, and advanced defense systems, is skyrocketing at an unprecedented rate. Their terrestrial supply is not only limited, but also concentrated in a few, often politically sensitive regions, creating significant geopolitical vulnerabilities and supply chain risks. But out there, in the vastness of space, lies an almost unimaginable abundance of these critical resources. Asteroids alone are estimated to hold enough platinum group metals, including platinum, palladium, and rhodium, to meet humanity's demand for centuries, with a value so immense it's almost impossible to calculate, potentially reaching quadrillions of dollars. This represents an untapped reservoir of wealth that could fundamentally alter our economic landscape. The Moon, beyond its symbolic value as humanity's first extraterrestrial destination, holds vast reserves of helium-3. This rare isotope is considered the ideal fuel for a future, cleaner fusion energy, offering a virtually limitless and environmentally friendly power source. This isn't merely science fiction anymore. It's an economic imperative, a strategic necessity that could solve our planet's energy crisis and drive unprecedented technological advancement. The old space race, primarily between the United States and the Soviet Union, was largely about flags, national prestige, and ideological supremacy. This new race, however, is fundamentally different. It's about profit, power, and the control of invaluable extraterrestrial resources. The players are familiar, including established spacefaring nations and emerging commercial entities. But their ambitions are far grander, extending beyond Earth's orbit to claim the cosmos. The United States, through NASA's ambitious Artemis program, aims to establish a permanent human presence on the Moon by 2030. This initiative is not just for scientific exploration. It has a clear eye on resource extraction, particularly water ice and helium-3, which are crucial for sustaining lunar bases and fueling future deep space missions. The Artemis Accords, a framework for lunar exploration, also assert the legality of resource extraction. China is aggressively pursuing its own ambitious lunar base, the International Lunar Research Station, or ILRS. This project involves significant partnerships with Russia and other nations, with explicit goals of resource utilization and establishing a long-term presence. The ILRS aims to integrate advanced technologies for extracting and processing lunar resources, showcasing a collaborative yet competitive approach to space exploration and exploitation. Beyond these major players, India, Japan, the UAE, and even innovative commercial ventures like Astroforge are all actively staking their claims in this new space gold rush. Each nation and company is developing unique strategies and technologies to access and utilize extraterrestrial resources. The countdown to extraterrestrial resource control has unequivocally begun, transforming space from a frontier of discovery into a domain of economic competition. So who legally owns these trillions in the sky, these vast reserves of cosmic wealth? The answer, incredibly, is no one. At least not definitively. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967, a foundational document of international space law, explicitly forbids national appropriation of outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, by any means. This treaty was designed to prevent territorial claims in space, promoting peaceful exploration. However, the treaty remains conspicuously silent on the activities of private companies or, crucially, about the extraction and ownership of resources by any entity. This significant legal ambiguity is not merely a loophole. It's an open invitation for a gold rush, creating a vacuum where nations and corporations are rushing to establish de facto claims and operational precedents. The 1979 Moon Agreement attempted to address this, but has few signatories, leaving the legal landscape largely undefined. The race is not just to get there first, it's to define the rules and establish operational control after you're there, setting precedents that could shape the future of space law. The stakes are too high, and the resources too vast to expect a polite queue or a universally agreed-upon framework. This intense competition for strategic locations, like the lunar South Pole with its water ice, could easily escalate into disputes. Now we will delve deeper into the terrifying implications of this legal vacuum and the very real potential for a new kind of space war. We will explore how the lack of clear international regulations, coupled with escalating national and commercial ambitions, could lead to conflicts over orbital territories, resource-rich asteroids, and strategic lunar sites, fundamentally altering the future of humanity's presence in space. We've seen the treasure map of the heavens, a quadrillion-dollar prize with no clear owner. This vast wealth, encompassing water ice, rare earth metals, and other valuable resources on the moon and asteroids, represents an unprecedented economic opportunity for any nation or entity capable of claiming it. But in the great game of geopolitics, when the law is silent, possession is everything. The absence of clear international regulations for celestial bodies creates a vacuum where the first to establish a presence can assert de facto control over invaluable resources, setting a dangerous precedent for future claims. The new doctrine is simple: create facts on the ground, or in this case, facts on the moon. This strategy involves establishing a physical presence and infrastructure, such as landing sites and research stations, to solidify claims in areas where international law is ambiguous or non-existent, effectively redrawing the map of lunar ownership. This is where the race for resources becomes a dangerous scramble for territory, echoing historical land grabs, but now playing out on a cosmic scale. Nations are not just exploring, they are strategically positioning themselves to control future supply chains and secure economic dominance in the new space economy. To understand how this will play out, we don't need to look up at the stars. We need to look down at the South China Sea. The parallels between Earth-based territorial disputes and potential lunar conflicts are striking, offering a grim preview of what could unfold in space. For years, China has built artificial islands in contested waters, equipping them with airstrips and military hardware, creating facts on the ground that international law has been powerless to reverse. This aggressive strategy has allowed China to assert its claims and control vital shipping lanes, demonstrating a blueprint for asserting sovereignty in disputed territories. This is the blueprint for space, a strategy of establishing a physical presence to create undeniable claims. Just as artificial islands solidify territorial control on Earth, lunar bases and mining operations will serve as tangible assertions of ownership in the vast, unregulated expanse of space. Every lunar landing, every robotic prospector, every scientific research station is a de facto claim, a subtle but significant assertion of presence and potential ownership. These seemingly innocuous activities are, in reality, strategic moves to stake out valuable resource-rich areas, particularly those containing water ice and rare earth metals. The nation that establishes a permanent base near a resource-rich area, like the lunar South Pole, or that places a mining robot on a valuable asteroid, will argue it has a right to create a safety zone around its assets. This concept of a safety zone extends beyond mere protection, implying exclusive access and control over surrounding resources, effectively privatizing portions of celestial bodies. That safety zone is the new word for territory, a euphemism for claiming vast swathes of the moon or asteroids under the guise of protecting investments. This redefinition of territory in space challenges existing international treaties and sets the stage for potential conflicts over resource control. And how do you protect these trillion-dollar assets in a lawless frontier? You weaponize the heavens. The immense value of space resources and infrastructure necessitates robust defense, leading nations to develop advanced military capabilities specifically designed for orbital warfare. The era of space as a peaceful sanctuary is over. It is now officially designated as a warfighting domain, a shift in doctrine that acknowledges the strategic importance of space and the potential for conflict. This reclassification has profound implications for international relations and military planning. The U.S. Space Force is no longer a joke. It is a necessity. Its mission to prepare for a conflict that would be fought in total silence. A conflict where the stakes are global infrastructure and economic stability. This specialized branch of the military is tasked with protecting vital space assets and projecting power in orbit. The weapons are already being tested. Russia, China, the US, and India have all demonstrated the ability to destroy satellites from the ground, showcasing their anti-satellite capabilities. These tests, such as India's Mission Shakti, send a clear message about their capacity to disrupt or deny access to space. The next generation of weapons includes co-orbital inspector satellites that can approach and disable an enemy's assets, high-powered lasers that can blind sensors, and sophisticated jammers that can sever communications. These advanced systems are designed for precision strikes and electronic warfare, making space a complex and dangerous battlefield. But a war in space would look nothing like you imagine. There will be no dogfights, no dramatic explosions visible from Earth. Instead, it will be a far more insidious and devastating form of conflict, impacting our daily lives in ways we can barely comprehend. It will be a silent, sterile, robotic conflict that would unleash hell on Earth. The battles will occur thousands of kilometers above our heads, unseen and unheard, yet their consequences would be felt globally, disrupting the very fabric of modern society. The first shot would be a cyber attack, disabling a command center, crippling an adversary's ability to respond. The next would be a kinetic strike, an ASAT missile creating a cloud of debris to deny access to a critical orbit, effectively rendering that orbital highway unusable for years, if not decades. Our entire modern civilization, our communications, our banking, our navigation, our power grids, is utterly dependent on a fragile network of satellites. These orbital assets are the invisible backbone of our interconnected world, and their disruption would lead to widespread chaos and economic collapse. A war in space is a war on the very nervous system of human society, a conflict that would sever the connections that bind us and plunge the world into an unprecedented crisis. The implications extend far beyond military strategy, touching every aspect of our daily existence. Now, we will explore the immense economic upheaval this new space race will cause, and the rise of a new class of corporate titans who aim to become the new masters of the universe. This will delve into the financial implications and the emergence of powerful private entities vying for control of space resources. We've seen the battle lines being drawn between nations in the heavens. But the most disruptive force in this new space race is not a government. It is a new breed of titan, a class of billionaire visionaries building private empires in the sky. While nations squabble over treaties, these new robber barons are building the very rockets, landers, and technologies that will define this new economic frontier. The old space race was a contest of ideologies, funded by taxpayers. The new space race is a contest for profit, funded by venture capital. Companies like Elon Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin are no longer just contractors for NASA. They are the new gatekeepers. With their reusable rockets, they have slashed the cost of reaching orbit, opening the floodgates for a new off-world economy. SpaceX earned $14.2 billion in 2024 and is projected to hit $15.5 billion in 2025, handling 80% of global payloads with 170 orbital launches planned. Reusable rockets have slashed launch costs by 75%, from $10,000 to $2,500 per kilogram, making space more accessible. Starlink has deployed over 7,500 satellites and has 4.6 million subscribers in 2024, generating $7.7 billion in revenue, with projections of $11.8 billion in 2025. SpaceX was valued at $350 billion in late 2024, surpassing traditional aerospace giants, creating thousands of jobs and boosting regional economies. They are building the infrastructure of space, the transport, the habitats, the communication networks. This gives them immense power. Nations, including the United States, are now becoming customers of these private corporations to achieve their own strategic goals in space. Blue Origin secured a $2.38 billion National Security Space Launch Award and a $3.4 billion NASA contract for the Artemis 5 mission, further solidifying their role. But what happens when this private ambition succeeds? Consider this very real scenario. A private company, like Asteroid or a future competitor, successfully captures a small, metallic asteroid and guides it into a stable orbit around Earth for mining. Asteroid, founded in January 2022, aims to launch its third mission in 2025 to dock with a metallic near-Earth asteroid, having raised $55 million. A recent analysis in the Financial Times modeled the economic shock of even a small 500-meter asteroid, rich in platinum, being brought to market. The result? A complete collapse of the global platinum market. The economies of resource-dependent nations like South Africa and Russia would be shattered overnight. The winners would be the handful of corporations and nations with the technology to mine in space. The losers would be entire countries on Earth. This isn't just disruption. It's a planned obsolescence of terrestrial economies. This race is birthing a whole new ecosystem of resilience industries and orbital economies. We're seeing a boom in companies specializing in space robotics, asteroid prospecting AI, and even space law and insurance. Space insurance has grown into its own market sector, providing coverage for pre-launch, launch, in-orbit phases, and third-party liabilities. The biggest revolution may be orbital manufacturing, building things like fiber optics and perfect crystals in zero gravity, creating products of a quality impossible to achieve on Earth. But who will benefit from this new industrial revolution in the heavens? Will it lift all of humanity? Or will it create the greatest wealth gap in history? A new divide between the spacefaring nations and corporations and the earthbound? In our final part, we will explore our stake in the deep and the urgent moral questions we must answer before it's too late. We have journeyed to the heavens, witnessing a new gold rush, a brewing conflict, and the rise of private space empires. This era marks a significant shift in humanity's reach, extending our ambitions and rivalries beyond Earth's atmosphere into the vastness of the cosmos. It is a story of quadrillion-dollar asteroids and robotic armies, poised to extract invaluable resources. But this is not a distant science fiction tale, confined to the pages of a book or the silver screen. It is unfolding right now, in our lifetime, with profound implications for everyone. It is a story about you, about the very device you're watching this on, powered by technologies that may soon originate from space. It's about the future of our planet, how we manage its resources, and the kind of world, both on Earth and beyond, we will ultimately leave for our children and generations to come. The promise of this new space race is undeniably intoxicating. The vast reserves of minerals mined from asteroids could revolutionize our energy infrastructure, powering a complete green energy transition and finally ending our long-standing reliance on fossil fuels, ushering in an era of unprecedented environmental sustainability. Helium-3, a rare isotope found in abundance on the Moon, could unlock the dream of clean, limitless fusion energy, providing a sustainable power source for millennia. Furthermore, space-based manufacturing could create advanced technologies and materials impossible to produce on Earth, solving some of humanity's greatest challenges, from medical breakthroughs to advanced infrastructure. This utopian vision paints a future where humanity's carbon footprint on Earth shrinks dramatically, leading to a healthier, more sustainable planet for all its inhabitants. It's a future where resource scarcity is a relic of the past, and innovation flourishes in a truly global, or rather, a truly cosmic economy. But the peril inherent in this new frontier is just as profound and potentially devastating. We must ask ourselves, will these immense resources become a common heritage for all mankind, equitably distributed to lift billions out of poverty and foster global prosperity, as many hope they will? Or will they instead become the exclusive private property of a few powerful nations and corporations, creating a new, unbridgeable divide between the spacefaring rich, who control these extraterrestrial assets, and the earth-bound poor, who are left behind, exacerbating existing inequalities on a cosmic scale? The battle for the future of space is already being fought, not with traditional weapons of war, but with treaties, agreements, and competing visions for how humanity should govern and utilize the cosmos. These diplomatic skirmishes are shaping the very foundation of our off-world future. On one side, you have the Artemis Accords, a series of non-binding multilateral arrangements led by the United States. This coalition of 56 like-minded nations promotes a vision of space exploration based on transparency, cooperation, and peaceful utilization, but one that also strongly protects private property and commercial rights, fostering a market-driven approach to space resource utilization. On the other side, you have the China-led International Lunar Research Station, a rival bloc with its own distinct set of rules and principles. This initiative, spearheaded by Roscosmos and the China National Space Administration, often emphasizes the role of state-owned enterprises and a more centralized, government-controlled approach to space development and resource management, presenting a contrasting model for lunar exploration and beyond. The heavens are, in essence, being divided into two distinct camps, two competing legal and economic systems, each vying for influence and control. This division is occurring even before humanity has managed to build a single permanent outpost or establish a lasting presence beyond our home planet, setting the stage for potential future conflicts over celestial territories and resources. This is our final frontier, and arguably our last chance to get it right, to establish a framework for peace and equitable access. Before the rockets launch in greater numbers, before the drills start extracting precious materials, and crucially, before the first shots of a new conflict are fired in the profound silence of space, we must have a global, inclusive conversation about our shared future among the stars. The future of space is far too important, too vast in its implications, to be left solely to the decisions of a handful of billionaires and superpowers. It demands a collective human effort, a shared vision that transcends national borders and corporate interests, ensuring that the benefits of space exploration are truly for all. So what are your thoughts on this critical juncture in human history? Should space be considered the common heritage of all mankind, with its resources managed for the benefit of everyone? Or should it be viewed as a new frontier for profit, open to private enterprise and commercial exploitation, potentially leading to new forms of inequality? If this documentary has made you pause and think deeply about these profound questions, please consider giving it a like. Your engagement helps to spread this crucial conversation to a wider audience, ensuring more voices are heard in shaping our cosmic destiny. We invite you to comment below with your vision for humanity's future in space, sharing your hopes, concerns, and ideas for how we can navigate this new era responsibly. And for more deep dives that look beyond our world and explore the complex issues shaping our future, be sure to subscribe to ATM. The stars have always been a source of wonder, inspiring dreams and pushing the boundaries of human endeavor. Let us ensure that this boundless source of inspiration and potential does not, through our short-sightedness or greed, become our next battlefield, but rather a testament to our collective wisdom and cooperation. Thank you for joining me on ATM as we explore the profound implications of humanity's journey into the deep.